You want to have the press the attack there to save other people. So feeling about this LC in general. We most likely haven't seen the core be revealed yet for Marb, and it's not like he can pick one of his like best heroes, like the anti-mage, for example. Anti-mage into a Legion commander, horrible, absolutely horrible. You just get bullied out of lane. You want to lose your mana just so that you can trade much more effectively.
Even to a TA as well. Like there's a hero that's gonna on Radiant, so naturally gonna have a very early Roche timing, and you can just look to take over the game with that first age and just end it. So I mean, even more difficult for some of Mob's stellar heroes to be picked up. He does really like the Phantom Assassin. But I think I would like them to have a carry who can also utilize the ink swells as the game goes on, and someone who can come online early though. So Pierre, don't really put into that category, at least on coming online early.
I don't think there's anyone that goes into that category. Like there are lots of things, right? You need to come on early, you need to use the Inkswell, and you probably don't want to be a melee hero into a Legion commander. I don't think there's anyone that fits the bill for that. Maybe
Uh,
Monkey King, but it's banned. So
I guess the Ursa's another consideration, but then how do you scale? Which is going to be rough. It does kind of match the TA timing, which is something you're happy about. And like you said, kind of one of the few melees that are going to do well versus the Legion. But I
T1 seem to
guess,
think that this is a
yeah.
position one conquer as well. I mean, I wouldn't hate to see it mid. I guess against the TA, you don't really want it, right? Like the refraction means that the Tidebringer isn't going to be super effective, but the torrent is a lot of small instances of damage. So if you hit that, you can very quickly take those away from the TA. I was kind of thinking they might have gone for something like a Medusa just to give them some kind of late game, allow the Spirit Breaker and the Kunkka to be a lot more of the frontliners and create space for Medusa to just sit back and do work. But I don't think you could try and be more efficient than T1. They're just going to be able to outplay you a lot of the time.
100% in agreement with everything you said. Like, good luck going late game versus T1. Can you out efficient them? But honestly, like, Mob really does like his Deucer, and I've seen Execrate like it. If you put a Deucer there in the 24th pick, that looks like an Execration draft. So it's still available. Like you said, T1 putting some respect on just the potential flex to you have maybe a little bit better of a lane matchup versus the Queen of Pain. But I think you're probably already happy with that though. Like, yes, Quap might be the Quap Conquer matchup can honestly go back and forth. Very skill focused, and well, T1, we're gonna get a disruptor here. So I like that. You got TA for vision, and
Yeah. Just thinking as well, like Static Storm's going to be pretty decent against the Spirit Breaker Glimpse as well, right? Like just lots of easy way, even just Glimpse for the Fiend's Grip, right? Disruptor very rarely going to be the target of that. You get Glimpse leveled up to maximum, good long range way to be able to get rid of it. So you don't need to like wait for a Tide Hunter Ravage, or you don't need to wait for TA to get the Aghanim Shard to be able to break it. So yeah, don't hate the Disruptor. When they were picking like the Tide Hunter, they pick the LC and the Disruptor. I'm like, man, they're just looking to get rid of some of these big counters to the Tide, but then more likely it is going to be played in this 3 or 4 position.
I honestly want it as a 5. I want a TA Tide lane. I feel like that makes a lot more sense with having a melee with the Templar Assassin, and then say if the Grimstroke or Bane is a little bit out of position, they can definitely die with that Gush and Meld.
Mm-hmm. Disruptor's decent at trading with a Bane as well. The Thunderstrike, once you hit level 3, it's a ton of damage to try and trade out there, even with 2 points in Brain Sap.
So it really is the question of what they're looking for Execration Lost.
I think you just got to be aggressive. You got to just pick whatever hero you think is
Ooh.
going to be able to withstand a lot of this physical damage. What are you thinking?
They can't bat. No, they will.
Choose your hero.
Bat Rider, it's into a Legion, but if there's ever a 24th pick where he can take over the game. But yeah, I mean, this is just an Execration draft through and through. Bob on the Conquer, Mob on the Deucer. You've got Escort on the Spirit Breaker. There are some good
5
combos.
LC.
5 LC.
I guess it's fine, just because a Tide Hunter is going to have an easier time farming into a Medusa. Like, you've only got the press the attack, the overwhelming odds on a offlane Legion Commander into a Medusa. Tide Hunter, he's got the Kraken Shell, he could block up a little bit more of that damage and still farm with Anchor Smash. So I feel like that's a bit of a laning answer to everything. And it also makes you a little bit less susceptible to those charges. Like I mentioned before, it kind of feels like you need to go on the Legion Commander. So if you're going on a Legion Commander with a lot of this good early ganking potential, Spirit Breaker, Grimstroke, and a Kunkka, if you could kill it, great, you most likely are. But if you're killing it and it's just a support, then that feels like a little bit more of a waste of time in terms of an actual true rotation.
If you're looking at the T1's lineup, are you feeling like maybe Tide being a core gives them an easier way to take team fights as the game goes on, just with a little bit more net worth than the Legion?
Potentially. I mean, you always have to be very careful, right, with playing the Legion Commander because we've seen it so many times. If you don't get the dual damage, you're not a hero. I don't want to see LC. I want them to change press the attack, so it's a much lesser part of the LC toolkit, and have you play around duel a bit more. I just want to see LC be that style of hero. So I feel like you've already got good team fight with the Disruptor, the Tide Hunter, hell, even the Queen of Pain, right? So I feel like it just fits their draft style better, and I feel like I mentioned, you're going to have an easier time in lane than a Legion Commander would against this Medusa.
Well, how are we feeling about this game 1 draft? We get kind of the bread and butter for the boys on Execration, and for T1, experimenting a little bit with the position 5 Legion Commander.
If there's any time to experiment, now's the time, right?
Prepare
Like,
for battle.
we've got a... Let me check my calendar, count down the days. 7 or 8 days left of this patch. So make the most of it. Try something that's a little bit out of the ordinary. Nothing too crazy. And we saw SMG go for a position 1 Tide Hunter. Didn't work out too well for them during the regional finals. But this is the sort of thing that you can look to experiment with. And again, it's just about building that chemistry.
I think another thing is that Gabby on the Templar Assassin. I mean, I'm sure it can play the hero, but I don't remember really seeing any flex of TA in the regional finals, and for that matter, I haven't really seen Gabby play it as well. I guess it's kind of interesting. Like, this is a very meta-specific flex hero, though. Like, I don't know if it's going to be around next patch, so if you're looking to practice heroes, maybe you could question if this is the one at this stage, but again, I think all for T1 though is just going to be off the back of really the chemistry building and trying to set the groundwork for the next season.
Step lively now.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think T1 are taking this that seriously. I feel like Execration need to. They've got a lot longer road to go up with. They've obviously changed up a few more of their players. They've got a roster that's going to go for a kill here with a meld onto Escod. Not quite.
There's a lot of damage though.
Yeah, I think it's just all about that team building aspect, right? Like, very few of these members were on Execration previously. You've obviously got Escod coming to stand in. You've got Marb that's recently joined them. It's really just Vincenzo and Bob that have remained. Are you not there anymore?
That's another thing. I didn't even think about it. Yeah, poor old BDZ not there. So who's the Grim? Who's playing their fourth?
A woo.lft.
A woo. How could I forget a woo? Is it Samael? Is it actually Samael?
I think it might be, yeah.
Okay.
I take what I please.
We haven't really seen him for quite some time through the scene as well. I mean, we got to...
When was the last time on Bias?
Yeah, I think he actually had a short stint on Signal, and they collapsed that roster. So
has been killed.
I don't think we've seen him since then, but... What's the lane to look at in this game 1? Kind of anything you're more intrigued to see on how it's going to fare early?
The top side, once you start hitting level 3, let's say, on Zephyr and Cuckoo, maybe trying to go for a kill onto Vincenzo. Although bot side, they do have a lot of kill threat with Escod as well as Samael, but it's always going to be a little bit more of a challenge, right? Against a TA, once she hits level 2, she's going to have the refraction. Maybe doesn't want to prioritize it all that much, just because, again, Inkswell, very good way to be able to cut on through that. But Whitemon, he's, of course, a strength hero. He's gone for a little bit more of that protection with the Ring of Protection so that he could look to try and bully out Samael as well as Escod. And it wouldn't be C without a pause, would it?
I mean, it just feels like it wouldn't be a pro game without a pause in general. I mean, it's really is just the meta right now. It feels like it's been the meta for God knows how many years. All right, we got the G's. Should be back on the way shortly. It's going to be, like you were saying, feels like a lot of the side lanes is going to be where the action is. Mid lane, it'll just be the battle between Carl and Bob, but we kind of spoke a little bit about in the draft. I think it's can be a skill-based matchup. I mean, Quat with the harass, of course, Conquer as well with the Tidebringer, so maybe some...
Charging onto Whitemon here. What's going on who, though?
It's a good question. I mean, Gabby's able to send his ground and provide a little bit of assistance from far. Whiteman's got a Selv. Whitemon has got a Selv. Clarity coming out on the Courier as well. Whiteman.
Bob in this mid lane is taking a beating, though. Carl doing a really good job so far. Might be losing a little bit on the last hits front, but Bob, you got to be very careful here. He finally has the bottle delivered out to him. He sips it between the Shadow Strike procs, but he should be just fine. I was wondering maybe he would go into at least the one bracer to be able to withstand against the pressure coming through by the Queen of Pain, of course. Shadow Strike probably not going to be leveled up any more than it already is, though.
Goddamn lot of creeps here for Carl. Like, Huzzer was a double wave mid, but... Alright, so that'll give time for at least Bob to be able to go back and pick up the Water Rune. But a lot of free gold and experience uncontested under the tower for Carl, so he's going to be loving life at the moment. You know, speaking about maybe some external forces that might put a little bit of pressure on the mid lane, do you feel like either side has some ways to help secure the runes?
It's pretty damn hard to kill a Conquer early on, as he even looks to TP back to base to refill the bottle, get the magic
Hold
stick.
that third. Whitemon might actually go down for our first blood here as Escort's got to look to connect by the bottom outpost, and will be the Grimshow securing out first blood. Samael, very, very nicely done. He's just going to go for the deny as well. Okay.
How did they see him?
It
They
should have been
charge him from quite some distance away. I mean, they've got the ward behind the tier 1 tower, but
There was a 1v1 going on.
Radiant structures
Okay.
are
So he
fortified.
connected with the Grimshow. I think they were just... Grim was maybe stopping a pull or something. That's why he was over there. And all of a sudden, you just got a Spirit Breaker on top of you. Who do you know? It's a good old hero that one is.
So I want to ask you actually, how do you feel about this new Execration roster so far? Let's ignore Escod. Let's assume that Tino, who was playing for them yesterday, is still going to be doing so.
Structures are
They
fortified.
don't have Nando.
Hold on, Gabby. He's actually gonna get the kill onto the Spirit Breaker instead, and he's got Refraction available. So Gabby gets away with his life, and got one
Someone's got the
nearby.
salve.
Now, meanwhile, it's actually going to be Vincenzo top lane getting the kill on Zephyr. So a couple kills across the map. So you're asking, don't do it, Gabby.
Nando,
Oh.
BDZ, and God, last one.
Hang on. Now Grimstroke's going to be in a bit of trouble here. Spirit Breaker taking some time to connect to bottom. Samuel has had the opportunity to pop the Selv, and now Escort feels like he can dive under the tower, but I mean, they need the sentry. It's just out of range, and I mean, Gabby doesn't have the opportunity to get Refraction up fast enough. I mean, this does leave mid vulnerable though, as Carl gets the kill on Bob, so that's a big one to claim. Escort
Whitemon's
though,
gone
gonna take a
hunting,
little
though.
bit of damage there from the neutrals as well. Whitemon with his 2 points in the odds is going to increase that movement speed, but thanks to the Stroke of Fate, holding back. He's still continuing the chase though with Stroke up shortly, or the overwhelming odds, and he'll find it.
Dyer's bottom
What a
tower
beast.
is under attack.
So yeah, Kamizu as well as Nando and Carlo. Now that they've gone, how do you feel about this Execration roster?
So, like, honestly, I didn't get much opportunity to watch them in general last season, so... regardless, they didn't look as strong anyway. I think Mob, we've seen kind of the inexperience from him. We've had to cast him a couple times when he's been, like, filling in on some lineups, so I think there's a lot of inexperience for Mob in particular, and... I think it's just a roster that, like, I don't really think they're going to perform any better than what they did with the previous roster. Like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I was about to say, do you feel like it is a Div 1 roster?
No, I think it's a Div 2 and not even challenging for Div 1 roster. So...
The shade coming through. I mean, to be honest, I agree personally. I don't think they should still be in Div 1. It was such an unfortunate circumstance with Motivate Trust in that final tiebreaker with Q disconnecting, not being able to reconnect. I really felt like there was a lot more potential there for Motivate Trust. Maybe not now that, of course, Jackie is finding some success with Boom. But yeah, no shade to him, but Kamizu all throughout Division 1, it really felt like he was underperforming a lot of the time. And I don't know, something, I know he's a very skilled carry. Something about Nando really rubbed me the wrong way when in that last game, he was, aggressively tipping Masteros whenever he killed him in a 2v1 situation because they didn't have Q's Mirana there. Like that really was bad because you knew how much this meant to Motivate Trust, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth,
Yeah, I mean that's understandable when you're winning a incredibly important series, 4v5.
In a pub, it's possible, right? But not in this. Like, not when it's people's like hopes and dreams riding on the back of it.
I mean, my guy
you
is
don't
just
want to rub it in then.
He's just the devil, I suppose. I know he's just one of those people that just he wants the hate. I mean, there's those people.
Well,
you just
not
thrive on it. Yeah, that's
anymore,
true.
so.
We don't really have to worry about that. Again, though, hold on, top lane, Bob's gonna look to TP in Cuckoo. He's got 2 points in the Kraken. Let's see how much this is really gonna help provide him to maybe take off any of the stuns, but unfortunately, Cuckoo's already taken a little bit too much damage. Does have an extra teammate TPing over. It's actually going to be Carl as he drops the ultimate, but it doesn't hit on Marb instead, and Carl feels he's going to be a little bit too vulnerable to continue the chase, so the Bane just gets out to safety, but the Disruptor won't be so fortunate. They're still going to hunt Carl down, though. They got vision to be able to set up for the charge. It's only level 1 in the blink, so he's not going to have it up in a too quick of a time here as Escort can close the distance, and now with the follow-up stun, thanks to the Nether Strike, it's going to be Escort helping out to pick up another kill here for the boys on Execration.
A couple of times in the past few days, actually, that we've seen Carl playing the Queen of Pain, and not the greatest ultimates coming through. Obviously, he's still very comfortable on the hero, but maybe they're just wanting him to get a little bit more practice in, although I feel like the Quap's going to be one of those main targets of the big nerfs coming in about in a week and a bit.
So this is pretty big as well. Execration, they took... I didn't see how big the stack was. They took a hard stack away. At least a double, and they've scouted out the ancient stack as well. So Gabby's gonna have to be pretty fast for when he takes this, because Dire definitely do have a lineup that can infiltrate and take those stacks at a pretty early rate.
Absolutely, the Medusa or the Kunkka are both very viable at doing so. Bob's got the boat now, so can look to make plays pretty damn often, although he's just going to take away one of his own stacks beforehand. As even just now, the Illusion Rune scouting out, seeing that it's stacked up again, seeing Zephyr's positioning. So yeah, gonna need to be pretty damn quick on Gabby. Maybe just waiting for the second band of Elven Skin, perhaps, to be able to make that movement into the triangle.
And we were speaking a bit about the draft and how T1, it feels like, especially being on Radiant, they're going to have a lineup that could just, take the early Roshan and look to end the game early with how Templar Assassin really fares. Do we hold that thought as Execration? They spoke on 3. They're just going to move into the jungle and try and bring down Whitemon. So not the highest value target being brought down. If they maybe can get an objective off the back of that, they're going to be pretty happy. But I think the really nice thing from Gabby is that he already shoved this lane out before he TP'd out. So yeah, they won't really get too much value out of that maneuver.
They could see where this is happening. And this is what I was talking about, right? This is one of the benefits of shifting that Legion Commander to the position 3 role. If that's a position 5 Tidehunter, he could potentially get away, right? Because of the Kraken Shell. Legion Commander, you don't, but it's a support Legion Commander. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like, it's given space for Zephyr to get another stack onto that Ancient Camp. And even though you know that it's happening through the use of this Observer Ward here, you're not able to stop it. So I feel like that was a big wasted movement coming through from Execration. If they instead moved into that Tricamp area, maybe you can look at to take a team fight at that stage.
Yep. Yeah, that's really what I was hoping for them to do. Like, make a play over, utilize that Observer Ward, get a pick off, bring the Medusa as well. So Medusa and Conquer should easily take over the stack, and all of a sudden you've really taken over this injection of gold into the Templar Assassin, who, she relies on it relatively early. Escort gonna be in trouble though. Zephyr's gonna drop the Static Storm. Even Cuckoo feeling like he needs to TP down. Zephyr, he's gonna slightly bring back Samael. We get too much distance away though, so Cuckoo coming down, really giving them too much here.
Feel like you're generally really okay with how all of this is going down though. Like when you see a Kunkka, unless you're going up against like a TA or maybe a Lina in lane, I would say the Kunkka almost certainly is going to need to have that net worth lead. But despite that, what are we seeing here? The steal of the Ancients?
Yeah, just T1 just, I don't give a damn. Just man up, let's yeah. Just jump over, screw the Medusa, take away a couple of our stacks, and that's what we were wanting to see
what
T1
Execration
do.
should have done.
Yeah, sorry,
right?
Execration. Yeah. And there you go. I mean, that just taking away some of the farm that Dusa needs to catch up and keep online to the Templar Assassin, because he's definitely... it's something you're really worried about is how TA can come online a little bit earlier than the Dusa. So, you know, any stacks, any towers they can find early to take away from her net worth to be able to combat this is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, that's definitely the kind of movement that I was wanting to see Execration look to make previously. So yeah, the net worth lead just continuing to balloon out here for T1. They're playing it patiently, right? Like they've got their key timings that they need to hit. Dragonlance already completed on Gabby. He's just about 1,100 away from getting that Desolator. Once that's the case, they'll look to get a single pick-off, doesn't matter on who, and then just converge into Roche. They've already got the top tower, so they could feel relatively safe on the Radiant side for doing that. And then once that starts sieging these towers and take away the Execration jungle.
Yeah, it feels like... I was just going to ask before if you think Execration have a lineup that are able to combat kind of this 20-minute timing that we're going to see from T1.
Probably not, to be completely honest. I feel like, Zephyr's going to place some of these really deep observer wards. He's actually getting scouted out by Bob here, so look to give up his life.
He's got one behind him.
Good position. Yeah.
Press the attack off, but they are fighting by the dire territories, so he's going to turn around, chuck up the duel, another glimpse away as well. I mean, Samuel's already got a majority of his abilities up, but now they're still going to look to stand their ground with Escort charging on over. The stuns are there on Carl, but he's already got an ultimate orb, so relatively tanking. The Queen of Pain feels like he's in a position to jump on over forward to bring down Bob, but he doesn't have any extra damage. As Carl, a little bit too overzealous with that play. Is it we're going to tip Escort as well from being able to stand his ground on the Spirit Breaker?
Maybe a few bashes coming through as well. He's just saying, man, I would have got that if not for you and your bullshit luck. But, I mean, the real objective there, I guess it's bad that Mob ends up getting, 2 of those kills plus a courier. Ooh. But TA farming, that's the key objective that they were wanting out of that engagement. They took away some of the jungle that they had. They pushed the wave in. So now Gabby's just going to walk on back, take another stack for himself. That'll get him his Desolator. And that's when they could feel really confident in being able to take a true team fight. Because there's no Stone Gaze. There's no Nether Strike and no Soulbind, at least for a little bit. So trying to make a movement before they can get in position to be able to make that kind of movement here. Doesn't look like it'll be fast enough, though, coming through from Execration. They're going to be patient. They're going to wait for a lot of these cooldowns to be up. But, yeah. They might be getting baited in here by Carl with the rest of the team sitting right on behind him.
They don't have too long of their smoke. They're going to see Escort's position now. If they can get a ward up quickly by the triangle, they're going to be in a really good position to take the fight. Vincenzo will lead. They'll drop the Static Storm for it. A lot of hate, but now Cuckoo revealing the blink as well. We still haven't seen the first Ravage of the game, and it looks like we won't even need it just yet as well. There's both supports on Execration getting blown out without any remorse.
It's a little fortunate that they don't walk as a group up onto that high ground at the same time, because I felt like Execration, what was that smoke for exactly? They didn't even go past their own side of the river during that entire time when you had your ultimates available, and it was really trying to catch out that TA while she was farming. You had decent enough understanding of what was happening, but they just took way too long to do it, and now they're just going to walk into Roche with the Gush, with the Desolator, with the Meld. This Roche will go down pretty damn quickly.
They do have at least relatively good vision in the area. And yeah, the boys on T1 feel like they can't take this. They're actually going to connect to top though, where Zephyr and Carl battling over against Escort at the moment. Cuckoo flying over just to provide some damage mitigation. But yeah, they need to provide help to Gabby as well. And they're trying to get in the area fast enough. They've got a way to cancel off. And now Cuckoo as well, TPing to the T1 tower so he can get there that little bit faster. There's T1. They come through in the nick of timing to keep the core alive. And now Carl is looking over for another kill as well. They're going to continue to chase down Vincenzo. I mean, Wymon's got the duel. You'd love to pick up your second victory of the game. And yes, sir, they will.
I liked that play from Execration. They were, again, just a little bit slow with a lot of their movements. I can understand not wanting to commit the Fiend's Grip super early on until you see the Legion Commander, because press the attack completely wastes the Bane ultimate. So he wanted to get the Nightmare off, then the Fiend's Grip, but a lot of the space that Escod was making ended up being for nothing, because by the time he did use Fiend's Grip, like I said before, another one of those great ways to be able to cancel out the Fiend's Grip is the huge range on that Glimpse. So it was basically a Fiend's Grip for nothing, whereas if he just straight up Fiend's Grip the TA with the space that Spirit Break was creating for him, maybe they get the pick off before the rest of the team is able to join in and provide the reinforcements. That means we wouldn't lose Roche either.
I guess the one silver lining for Execration at the moment is how far Mob truly is. I mean, he's top of the net worth and very close to the Scotty, which is going to be a big timing against T1. They've got a lineup that's going to look to like heavily commit in and blow up a couple heroes, and if you're unable to do so, all of a sudden you're trying to retreat against the hero with Ice Scotty's not an easy task at all.
Yeah, that is the one silver lining for Execration, right? Barb is farming. You've done a good job to be able to make space for him. Now it's just, what are you going to be able to do with it? Because you're coming up against a lot, giving up a ton of net worth to the rest of the cores. On the T1 side, you're also playing with an Aegis. Nearly, like you said before, getting that Skadi, but might just come a little bit too late. You're really losing a lot of this map control. A lot of the wards that are being placed down by T1 are in these areas that are going to prevent some of these backstabs that you're going to need to be able to take out these saving heroes like the Disruptor and the Legion Commander.
Two hit, pretty much. All right. Very fun. Very balanced. 3-1-3. For Gabby's Templar Assassin. They'll get rid of the support that's looking to just try and delay this push as much as possible, and now with the next Creep Wave connecting, they will finally have their first tier 2 tower of the game, which means further map control as well, with the outpost now being available.
Yeah, outpost into a mid tier 1 should be the next way. Man, look at how Execration have warded, actually. I just noticed it on the map. 4 wards on T1 side of the map, but that's not where T1 want to be. A lot of that information might look nice on the minimap, but it's not actually providing them much of anything, because they've got the advantage in terms of net worth and towers and an Aegis. So they're going to be playing on your side of the map and trying to take the objectives in this key time. Play.
They're all grouped up. If Cuckoo just jumps forward, he's going to get a multi-man Ravage to start. But, I mean, you're pretty happy with that as well. Bob just BKBing into the TP out. Yes, they won't get the kills. Smoke for nothing, but that is a... I mean, that was his 9-second charge, right?
Yeah, I believe so. If Whitemon kept running forward as well, I think he might have been able to land the duel. He doesn't have the level 10 talent for the cast range, but he has a keen optic, so might have been able to catch him there.
And I like this.
Yeah, Cuckoo's just hunting for more.
There's going to be a big advantage now through the team fight. Gabby, you got Whitemon nearby, so... I mean, Bob is going to be completely useless through this next fight. Mob still chunking down Gabby. Even Escort's going to look to move on over as well. They need to counter-initiate fast, otherwise his first life's going to get blown up. How do they set up for the second though? Cuckoo looking to fly on over. They can't really aim the Medusa at the moment, so they'll turn to deal with Escort instead. Well, 1-for-1, getting rid of the Aegis, but I mean, it's going to cost Whitemon as well, as we see kind of the big timer here for Mob with that Eye of the Scud. It's just so difficult to fight into the lineup on the Dire side when they do have an objective nearby to fall back on.
Even with the BKBs, right? Like, Whitemon's got his Agadim Shard, so he's providing a lot of that saving potential, but the spell immunity doesn't help when you've got the Eye of Scud. You've still got that movement speed slow, particularly on 2 of these cores, in the TA and the Queen of Pain. Obviously, nice deny coming through there from Carl. But yeah, the 40% movement speed slow for 3 seconds. Pretty damn significant.
Alright, well that's... Honestly, that's a nice play from Dire. Like, I was a bit worried how they would contest that fight with no BKB and boat, but they want successful hold. They take a tier 1 tower, you get rid of the Aegis, you get a kill on Whitemon. Yes, you're still down a decent chunk of gold, and it's actually continuing to accumulate instead of kind of stalling out here. But it feels like it's going to be this stage of the game where you just want to get Medusa as fat as possible to make it almost really difficult for tier 1 just to siege the high ground.
Hmm. I mean, actually, change things up a little bit here, Cuckoo. So he was buying out the Aghanim Scepter. He ended up buying 2 of the components, but I guess he sold one of them, and he's going into the Halberd again, just realizing that, look, this Medusa, it's still going to be a little bit of time until she gets that BKB. So if we're able to get that Blink Ravage, not going to be able to have any kind of save. It's not like you've got a Legion Commander or an Abaddon on Execration's side, and he's not even going to be able to stop the damage following after that as well if you provide a Heaven's Halberd disarm onto her. So I think that really needs to be a priority for Marp, making sure he's got that BKB as his next item. You are the main damage dealer right now for your team, but I mean, if you've got all this damage and you're just getting chain locked down and disarmed, it's not going to be worth anything.
Feels a bit awkward though going a BKB at this stage in the game for the Medusa though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels not ideal, but you need it, right? Like, they only have one way to get through it, which is the duel. And I feel like if you're a position 5 LC dueling a Medusa, you're going to die pretty damn quick.
You don't want to be feeding over too many dual victories over the mob. Might make ending this game a little bit more difficult than what we're hoping. What do we... Whitemon does have the blink queued up at the moment. Did you kind of expect this to be his item build? Just the Aghanim Shard rush and then into the blink afterwards?
I think it's the way that you need to build the Legion Commander. I was thinking maybe he might have built the Ring of Protection into something else, but it was just ended up being a value item super early on. I suppose maybe they weren't thinking they were going to be quite as aggressive as they have been in this early game, because he might have opted to go for just an urn, something that's going to be able to provide a little bit of extra mana regen for the early stages of the game, but maybe lucking out with that Keen Optic, feeling like it wasn't quite as necessary.
He didn't even go for the cast range as well. Like maybe...
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get it 11.
Yeah. I'm just presuming like because he has the Aghanim Shard now, he wants to max out the Prestige attack as early as possible, considering he's gone for this item. So yeah, fills the value, and like you said, he's definitely got to go for it at 11, unless he just skips it and he's like, all right, farming is the utmost importance. Let's put more points in the moment of courage as well.
I think it's pretty rare that you're going to be getting off duels in this game. It's going to be for like TP cancels or a lingering support at the end of a team fight. You're not going to be starting a lot of these engagements with the blink duel.
Well, trailing the crit wave with Whitemon and Gabby nearby. Got BKB, of course. Whitemon's going to cut off the retreat, and him being able to catch him out allows Gabby just to stand and beat into the Conquer. And oh, there we go. Whitemon, he's honestly doing decent considering... I'd say as a offlane Legion, you probably want like 50 dual damage at 20 minutes in, but we can see some tough Legion games where you don't even get that, so the damage he's got at the moment, I reckon he's going to be pretty happy with.
Nearly level 12 as well, so about to level that one up. Always quite nice. Even just for the duel, like a lot of the time, you don't even want to take away, get the duel damage with this Legion Commander. If it's a position 5, you're very happy with like a 5-second duration lockdown on one of these heroes, in particular the Bane.
Invisibility.
So surely the play is just as a position 5 Legion, screw the Aghanim Shard, let's just rush Aghanim Scepter and take a hero out of the fight for 8 seconds maxed out.
Oh yeah, completely.
You
are the true carry.
Yeah. Oh, it's not even carry. You're not even looking for kills. It's just take him out of the fight. I guess how it's going to take you, what, like 20 minutes plus to get an Aghanim Scepter on a Legion 5 especially. Yeah, wait, it's definitely... It's coming in next patch. Oh yeah, what, first Roche, next patch gives Aghanim Scepter 2 instead of Aegis?
I wonder if they'll add another, like, objective on the map, that might give Ags instead super early on. That'd probably be a bit busted. Oh, the courier might end up giving away Bob's position there, but Cuckoo, it's daytime. Yeah, you get a lot of vision, of course, between the tier 2 and tier 3 towers, so he's kind of given himself away a little bit. And that'll reveal his halberd as well, so I wonder if they've got the vision onto him to make sure that that is a key consideration for Marb, who still isn't gone for that BKB. He's gone all in on the damage, so what I'm going to be looking out for in a lot of these engagements is just how is Cuckoo's positioning in response to Marb.
Dire's structures are fortified.
That's going to be the big question with how you're able to position yourself in a team
Dire's
fight
bottom
where
tower is
T1,
under attack.
they've got ways to be able to gain
Radiant's
information
top tower is under attack.
off the back of the Templar Assassin traps, and speaking about some of their items as well, we got a couple Lincolns as well for the boys on T1. One on Queen of Pain, one on Gabby, so gonna make life a little bit more difficult for Escort, who's looking for a solo kill on Zephyr, and he'll definitely find it with the bash afterwards.
That 17%, man. He always seems to be there right at the perfect time. Gonna
Radiant's
be able
top
to TP
tower
right
has
on back. Not quite enough for the BKB just yet. He sells one of his nulls to buy, you would assume, the Mithril Hammer as he comes back. Nope, never mind.
You would assume wrong.
Well, apparently 5 item slots is
Dire's
better
bottom
than
tower
6
is under attack.
when they're filled.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I have to
sell
imagine he
it.
just wants buyback. But I don't know why sell the null then.
You don't need to sell
I
the
know.
null.
I don't know. He, I guess, didn't do his calculation right.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Therefore,
Radiant structures
trying to
are
give him the benefit of the
fortified.
doubt. I've got.
Radiant's top tower is
Are they
under
gonna come back
attack.
to defend this? Mom's doing a lot of
Dire's
damage.
middle tower
Here comes the
is under
TPs.
Dire's
Starting on
middle
the
tower has
Medusa's really not an easy task at all. They're trying to force some supports behind him
fallen. Radiant's top tower
to get
has
out of the
fallen.
formation of that they're set up in at the moment. Gonna continue to keep Mob nearby now with the Static Storm getting dropped as well. Maybe they can focus down the Medusa. Her mana slowly getting burnt away with the Ravage going to be used to cancel off the Fiend's Grip, but a lot of ultimates and not able to net them any kills at the moment for the boys on T1, and well, they'll just turn it back around as Carl blinks into the middle, but that's going to cost him his life. Gabby still having a free fight at the moment though. They've got the ward on the higher gun, so Gabby can just assassinate the rest of Execration. Now they drag back the Medusa as well as Whitemon finds another dual victory too. Gabby, triple kill, unstoppable streak for the Templar Assassin.
How did they actually see those heroes? That's sort of Execration ward on the
Oh.
high ground. So I'm like, what?
Alright.
Is it perhaps the Thunderstrike giving the extra vision through from that, or maybe there was a TA trap down? But I was kind of surprised that both supports died from that Gabby jump on in.
Yeah, just must have been Thunderstrike. With how they were playing it, like I saw a ward there, I just didn't see what team, and I just presumed with how they were playing that fight, like there was just Radiant's ward, but that is a very good point. I'm not sure. And good old TA things, and now you got second Roche as well to take, so Aghanim Shard, Aegis as well. Just feel like Gabby's the one to get the Shard. He's got 2 free slots, so I suppose so.
Roshan has fallen
I've seen
into
too many
the
great Fiend's Grips so far coming through from Vincenzo. Whitemon's really been on point with being able to remove that from the equation. Zephyr as well. So, yeah, it's just a third way to make Bane's life next to impossible.
It's going to get even more difficult for Vincenzo. He's up to his 5th death of the game. Bane, and now we got that second Roche timing for the boys on T1. Again, going higher ground though is not going to be too easy. They will definitely need another pick-off, I believe. You feel like they need a
again,
pick-off?
I think so. I mean, a Medusa on high ground, she's nearly hit level 20 as well, so you're going to have that extra little bit of a power spike coming through as she continues to build in. She actually was going into a Silver Edge initially, but now has just switched up into the Daedalus, realizing that you just need pure damage rather than any kind of
Oh,
repositioning.
Escort. Oh, no. Spirit Breaker. 70 damage down on Whitemon. I mean, this is getting to the stage where
That's why I'm here.
it's going to be hitting relatively hard for a support. Gets
Yeah,
increasing some of his farm so he can get those maybe items to scale a little bit better into the late game if we do really get to that stage. But, all eyes on T1 and how they're able to convert with this second Roche timing.
I honestly think Spirit Breaker being dead is big enough of a timing for them to try and make a push forward. That's why Carl is putting a lot of emphasis into pushing out this bottom lane. He's probably not going to be able to secure it in quick enough time, just with the Spirit Breaker.
Oh, this is not
15
good.
seconds.
They seem up with this lane ward.
Yeah.
Carl's going to continue to pounce. He's got Bob behind him. They can glimpse him away from the tower. That might be the play. They don't get too much distance. An early use of the Stone Gaze as well is not really going to give Marb an opportunity to retreat. They'll jump through the Disruptor at least, taking away one of the supports, but it still gives Cuckoo a free fight. Ravage onto 4. Carl's prioritizing the backline, but Escort's respawn. Marb's only getting tickled at the moment with that level 20. The sustain really starting to add up. They just have to look to kite the Medusa, but it's going to cost Gabby at least his first life. T1, do they want to stick around for round 2, or they're just kind of set up for the retreat? Gabby's able to get the blink away. Carl 2 up to the high ground, and they will not continue the chase on Execration, so a solid way for them to at least defend the life of the Medusa.
He's died 6 times, and like I said before, it's very hard for the Fiend's Grips to actually get off in a lot of these engagements, but the warding from Vincenzo, a lot of the Nightmare saves as well, been really on point, dragging out the amount of time that it takes to kill him, baiting himself back underneath his own tower to enable these heroes like Marbs and Medusa to really have much larger impact than they probably have any right to. Dropping a second Observer Ward lane here, and with T1 having 2 right on next to each other.
I mean, you know about the double value that Observer Wards right next to each other provide, right? There's a little buff
Yeah, it's
when
like a
you're...
telescope.
Yeah, when you're inside like a, 400 unit radius? It gives just a extra couple yards advantage on both
Gives your team the
wards.
power to yell at you, start all chatting.
Yeah. It's something that I guess a lot of people, they haven't been able to find out, this little piece, nugget of knowledge over their time. So I'm free to provide that, any assistance when possible, and I'm telling you, placing multiple Observer Wards right next to each other really gives you that edge.
Kind of surprised Carl hasn't signaled out to his team. Maybe he has, and just no one's in position to be able to drop the Sentry Ward. But he was getting hit around the Dire Triangle because of this Observer Ward. Again, the one that I highlighted before. This was actually, placed by Samael there. But he was getting hit by the Medusa split shot while he was standing up there. So they should know that there's some sort of vision available in the area. But hasn't been called out just yet, and even just waiting for the next Roshan to be able to on forward and to make another attempt.
So are you continuing...
EKB on... Oh, sorry, the Blink Dagger.
What do we got? What's this?
Okay. Carl is just Sonic waving a wave with no Ags. I was like, oh, maybe he's got the Ags. Nope, no, that's just a 2-minute cooldown. So I wonder if they actually saw that in Execration, because if I'm in their shoes, that is go time for me. I mean, you just finished up, I believe, is it just the Shadow Blade? No, he's got the full Silver Edge on the Medusa. I mean, go time is now. You got to try and make a play when you know there isn't this Queen of Pain ultimate, this huge portion of burst damage that's looking to come through.
I mean, again, I've got to ask the question if you feel like Execration are going to be able to combat T1 now at this stage of the game, because it definitely feels like we're going to get another Roshan, and Dusa is keeping up with farm. I know she's 4,000 behind, but is definitely going to scale a little bit better than Gabby's TA.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like they've got enough of that stuff that can anchor a team fight, right? You've got the Kunko, who's only going to get stronger once he gets the Aghanim Scepter. You've got a Bane who has multiple things to keep people in place in a team fight. Even just the Soulbind does quite a good job at that, and tons of chaos being created by Escort. So Marb really looking to as efficient as possible. There's not going to be Roche. It's very clear.
Oh no, Carl! Hey. Okay, well, he doesn't have BKB. They need to protect him. Cuckoo's going to fly over, provide some assistance with the double Ravage. They're still trying to target down Carl as well. He's able to get the blink away. Cuckoo comes in, the savior, to keep the position 2 alive. And with both Ravages on cooldown, T1, do they feel like they're in a position to chase for more? Oh, indeed they are, as Vincenzo gets blown up. Now they're going to look over to Escort as well. And Carly, you force Execration to break formation by that rune, and he's going to provide the extra vision as well to chase down Escort. So, I mean, that is a 3-for-0 in the end, with Samael also buying back.
Gabby's got to be a little careful here. He ended up finishing the Aghanim Scepter, and he's TPing around to a lot of his traps, trying to get those solo kills because of all of the trap vision that's being provided around his triangle, but he almost walked into 3 there, so to stop himself from being quite so antsy.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh, you say stopped himself from being antsy?
This will do.
It's like, alright, I say Grimstroke alone. I'm just looking for another free.
My labor.
Thank you, Whitemon.
Here's a blade in your
I'll
eye.
just-
You were about to say dual damage, but no, he wants just the kill. It's like, screw you, Gabby.
I was honestly going to say free kill for Tier, and then all of a sudden Whitemon just chucks out an overwhelming odds and just blows up a support.
Radiant's
So that's a
bottom
dieback
tower
for
is
now
under
for
attack.
Samael, and still
Whitemon's
just...
earned it.
He has. I mean, it's been a good, like, it's been a good game on Legion. It's not been a stellar performance, but it's just been like a good Legion game. He hasn't done anything too crazy, but it's kind of, I guess, expecting on what the hero is going to be is a position 5.
Yeah, like what would be an extravagant position 5 Legion game, really?
I guess it would just... that for an example. But in a more dire situation where Gabby's on like 100 health and you blink over, save the press the attack, and you do that a couple times in, you know, maybe a game that's only like 1,000 net worth, and then you're like, oh, okay.
It's not his fault that the T1 are stomping them in network right now.
One was like, come on guys, make it a little bit closer so my clutch factor can come through. Then I can get the MVP vote.
Him and Zephyr have just always been like the support duo of SEA. I feel like it's been for the past nearly 3 years that these guys have been playing together and doing such a fantastic job. In terms of a pair, you know, no one's on their level in my eyes.
Do you think they get enough recognition?
Well, if I have anything to say about it, they will.
Okay, well, if you don't, do you feel like they do in general?
Probably within the Southeast Asian scene, yes, but outside of it, no. I think they're very underrepresented in terms of a lot of these discussions of, you know, the best position 4 and 5 in the world. Like, Zephyr is never going to be one of those players that's like, you know, the top tier Rubik, or can play the Earth Spirit or the Tusk with these crazy saves. He's much more of the spellcaster type. So I just think he's going to be much more prevalent at some of these big events because he straight up carries the solo in a lot of these games, in particular his Treant Protector.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that's one of the X factors for Tier 1, that they have this duo support that is just able to be so stable for them through a lot of games and a lot of series, and we see how they're able to build off that. Definitely a team that's a fan favorite, to say the least. And, well, this game 1, they've got a 16,000 net worth lead, and just be another stall out, I believe. We've got a couple level 25s, though. Carl hitting Kiz. Hasn't decided yet. We've seen a lot of this late game Queen of Pain with Lincoln's and the spell block, and just being so difficult to execute an initiation. So I really wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
You have to. Yeah, like it's crazy not to. And I think he's tired of getting the lucky 17% chain bash from the Spirit Breaker as well. So he's holding on to the Blast Rig. Really the only one that should be hitting him from that close range.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Oh, they see that Marb
is under attack.
ended up going for the
Escort's going
smoke
to continue the charge. Ravage once again disrupting. Kuku is going to find
BKB.
multiple heroes, but they've got a big issue with the Medusa's health pool. As Marb gets blown out without popping the BKB. Amel's going to attempt the TPR. Will be fortunate enough, but off to the side, Whitemon lands another dual victory.
Radiant's bottom
That's
tower
2
is
down,
under
both
attack.
the chords as well. And well, now there's a big opportunity for
Dire's
T1
middle
to
tower
siege.
is under attack.
I was just about to say I'm so happy that Marb has finally been able to pick up that BKB, and then they end up smoking underneath the TA trap, and it's completely wasted. So he's on the deck for the next minute or so. You're coming up against a TA with double
Dire's
damage.
middle tower
Oh, they
You
might
are
just
in
blow
position
up
to lose
Bob.
this game.
For some buybacks, maybe even the life of Cuckoo as well, with Escort charging in forward. A deep dive for T1, and it's really going to cost them here. That would have been a free set of objectives. They still stick around. Gabby.
To be able to go for it. I mean,
Wait, where'd Gabby go? Okay, he's
Still
going to
there.
jump on in. Oh, I saw him project. I thought he went under the tower. I'm like, hang on a second. What are you doing, Gabby? Just chilling, just chilling. Just hitting some objectives. It looks like, yeah, they will get the range racks.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Ooh, this actually might catch them off guard. Zephyr's got Static Storm up in about 10 seconds. This is the Aghanims as well. Gotta be cautious of Escort too, considering, I mean, he did just buy back, so if you end up losing the life on the
Dire's
Spirit
middle
Breaker, that
barracks
is
has fallen.
100% free Roche, and it looks like now Tier 1 gonna eye that up.
Really liking the nullifier as well onto Carl. It feels like they're itemizing so heavily around this S-God Spirit Breaker, right? That both of the supports either have or have queued up the Yule Scepter, not just for that, but also to be able to save themselves from a lot of this early engagement. But that plus the nullifier, just to be able to get rid of the bulldoze, going to be so incredibly effective at stopping basically the only thing that have won Execration or have given Execration a chance. In
Execration are coming out. Zephyr's gonna drop the Static Storm, but oh, Kinetic Field. I don't know if it was on cooldown or something to play around with the ultimate. Now Carl might be in trouble as well. They pop both the Lincolns. Carl's gonna be protected thanks to the pressed attack, but they've dealt with Whitemon instead.
They bumped him onto the high ground.
I think Legion actually has to buy back. You cannot give this Roche up for Execration. And Escort's going to continue to charge on forward as well. They'll get rid of Zephyr. Now turning to Kyle as well. The lack of control starting to be an issue for Execration, as maybe they've overstepped a boundary. Cuckoo's got Ravage up in a couple of seconds. Refresher shortly as well. Gabby is slowly burning up the refraction. He's going to need some assistance. And once again, Cuckoo flies over the cliff line. They'll blow up the Spirit Breaker. Now Grimstroke's the next on the agenda. And they can just kite Mob with ease. The goddamn Halberd making it so difficult for him to do any damage. Now the Jewel's out. And Whitemon's been able to get more damage to add to the tally.
Oh, you're always feeling so nervous about dueling that Medusa, but luckily there with the Heaven's Halberd was Cuckoo, able to prevent the death coming through as a follow-up. Yeah, just another really good team fight coming through. Just not quite playing around the Ravage cooldowns quite as effectively on Execration. Going a little bit too deep, not learning the lesson after they were able to get quite a good start to this team fight here. And is that a third refresher coming through? No, he ends up passing it over. See Gabby wanting to have... Does he even want? Does he want another link here? That's great. Come on, Gabby.
I mean, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. Why does he have...
I can understand Quap having it, because
wait, I'm sorry.
Lincoln's plus the talent.
Why'd they give the Aegis to Cuckoo too? He didn't buy back.
You know, they're playing around.
Okay.
They're playing around.
Alright, so just not even gonna... Alright. Alright, so well, at least one thing that I think makes a little bit more sense is giving the shot to Cuckoo. So... There you go. Full set of barracks, and... see what they want to do.
He can always projection back. He just wanted to finish up that BKB on the TA.
Gonna have all their heroes off of this defense in about 10 seconds here for Execration. But we still have at least the T4 tower left standing by then. And they got the potential of the double Ravage as well, with the Refresher Orb still being on cooldown. They're happy with just getting all the objective damage they've dealt so far. Probably see Radiant reset. If they can fall back to the Power Rune, they'd love an Arcane. And maybe they'll look to take a fight.
Well, Cuckoo's got a Satanic. So that's a thing coming out here. I want to see him get that goddamn shard. I love Aghanim Shard on Tide Hunters. Like, the towers are probably dead by the time you get enough gold for it, but lower cooldown's also nice as well.
Yeah.
Increased damage, Satanic. Just stand in the middle of a team fight without too much of a care in the world, as long as you get that Phantom's Embrace off you.
And that's often how we like to see Tide play into the Medusa as well. Just on top of her, especially with the Halberd, but the Anchor Smash damage reduction. Man, Cuckoo's just gonna blow up the first ultimate. Now with the Static Storm dropped as well, they feel they got plenty of damage to go through the tank to get rid of the Medusa. And it looks like that's not gonna be the case. Mob's actually able to get out to safety. Carl's even pouncing on forward as well, but T1, the recognition, I mean, they're gonna be off the mark with their calculation. Now Cuckoo as well. They gave him the Aegis, they gave him the shard, he might not get the Ravage off. I mean, there's no follow-up. So everything used for T1 just to blow up the Deuce is going to cost them so dearly. Gabby, he's still actually sticking around. How is Cuckoo alive? This goddamn mitigation, the Anchor Smash, he doesn't get away though. Bob is able to cut him down. Gabby doesn't also. Psionic Projection not going to be fast enough, and now with the Refraction completely burnt. Execration? What's going on?
Hold. You know what that was? That was the 30 damage that you got on the Medusa because you're able to win that duel against the Legion Commander. They tried dropping absolutely everything onto Marb before he could pop that BKB, but He was just too quick. He was on the money there. The Static Storm wasn't able to catch him
Dire's
out, and
middle
the
tower
return
is under
damage
attack.
really nice there. I think it was probably the Inkswell from Samael as well. Just all of those people standing in on top of you meant that you had a good amount of lifesteal coming through from that, given that he's got the Aghanim Shard.
Well, Bob just solo killed Zephyr as well. Nicely done. Honestly, like,
For the Rapira as well. He's got it queued up.
there's a condition.
Radiant's
There's a
structures
very,
are
very big
fortified.
win condition.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Huh.
Bob's even trying to push in this bottom lane. Try and get there a little bit sooner. That'll be quicker than this mid lane starts to push in a little bit here.
Radiant's bottom tower
Keep the
is
illusions
under
there and
attack.
start to push down the bot lane. That seems like they're content to try and take away at least some of the outer tower control. It'll make next Roche
Radiant's
easier,
middle
and you would have to
tower is
assume
under
that's what
attack.
Execration are looking to play for.
Alright, what's the probability gone to from the past couple of sequences? And maybe wait for this teacher tower. But, I'll give you like a minute to answer. Okay, so
Radiant's
prep.
middle tower has fallen.
You know, get the thoughts rolling.
Your admiral is on board.
25. How am I? Oh,
That's not bad.
let's go.
It's not bad. Average prediction, honestly. I probably would have done it instantly. But I feel like giving you a
If you
little
asked
bit
for
of
an
time.
instant one, I would have given you an
I
instant
feel like giving you a little bit of time to lay the groundwork with your thought process was, ooh. I mean, what's it go up to now with the rapier? Surely that's gonna be, wait, why is it on the ground? Okay, give me a heart attack. What are you doing?
Imagine, right?
Do they just
Imagine
smoke up,
leave it there.
drop Ravage all of a sudden?
Also got this level. Ooh. Is that going to be a big
Smoke
deal?
on
No,
smoke.
on the ground, probably not.
Cuckoo? Can he find the angle to start the fight? If they can blow up the Titan Hunter, it's a big component to the lineup with T1, 2 down. They don't have buybacks. Hang on a second, what's going on? Sawbone out on Gabby along with Whitemon. They can close the distance. Another down without buyback. Escort! Hang on, he's going to cancel on Gabby as well. So Templar Assassin's not going to make it out. You're just hoping he's going to buy back and he doesn't.
Oh my god.
No, don't say it's so.
So the one person with buyback is out pushing lanes, and he's the one remaining alive here. So Carl, he's going to do his best to try and keep this one going.
I just
But,
got to cut mid.
well, look at the TA traps, though. He's just going to keep popping them. These creep waves are going to die.
Die, they have glyph, Ardent. Oh, drop a sentry. Oh no.
He doesn't have it. See you later,
Oh
creep wave.
no. Do they
Dire's
glyph? They do. They're going to.
fortified.
But there's another one.
Another one?
Radiant's
Oh my
middle tower
God.
is under attack.
It's just out of the range
Dire's
as well.
bottom tower
Oh,
is
oh, they
they
have it
got it,
down.
they got it.
Okay. I mean, they got 60 seconds OTA.
Carl's doing it though. He's just in the lane trying to do the exact same thing. So
I
he's
don't
got this
know.
creep wave.
Bob pushes fast with Rapier.
Radiant's
There's no
middle tower
way.
is under attack.
Okay. I mean, Carl's gonna have to put his body on the line.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
He's got a buyback, of course, to play around with. So the blow-up escort at least to start. But still the towers are falling. They're onto the throne. Bob's still alive. They're going to drop the boat as well. It looks like Execration. They might have just done it. Off the back of a repeat comeback from Mob. The throne's going to blow up. And Execration. They come back. Oh, my lord. What a way to take game one.
Glad you didn't ask me my overall prediction for this first game, because probably wouldn't have turned out the way I was expecting. You know, just one too many dives. Maybe, again, they're playing to have fun right now. T1 realized that in the grand scheme of things, they're not going to learn anything more on this patch, right? So they're just going to have a little fun, try and work on the chemistry. I'm sure there's still a lot of laughs going on about throughout their Discord or TeamSpeak or whatever it is that they're looking to use, but, you know, maybe giving away the Aegis to the Tide Hunter, not the best plan. Maybe, you know, going for a tier 4 dive, not the best plan. And they did it a couple of times. But Execration, to their credit, they played around Marb very well. And yeah, good win coming out from them. That's something that certainly they wouldn't have been expecting, considering just yesterday they got 2-0'd by Little Gun.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this is with a stand-in as well, with Escort coming in. And I mean, you're saying for T1, they're looking to try and build that chemistry. I'll tell you what, a game where you're throwing a 25,000 net worth lead, that's really where chemistry is built. If you can come back, clear the slate, and not get tilted with your teammates to lose a game like that. Because Execration, all they needed was one fight off the back of the rapier. We said that was that condition they were looking for. They held the high ground. I was continuing to ask through the game if you felt like they were going to be able to withstand this, and then you have an angle back in. And it looks like you said, maybe off the back of a little bit of misplays from T1, some luck on their side, but also just, in the end, Execration taking some really solid couple of late team fights to be able to secure this game 1. And, I mean, we'll see now.
Chat's going to be going crazy
Yeah,
at the end of all of this. This would have never happened with 23 Savage. Where's Ana? All this sort of stuff coming.
I'm ready to see it, lads. We've got game 2 coming up shortly. We'll send it a break, and when we come back, we'll have more T1 up against Execration.